figure out how many people we can have in space in one instance at a time. It will be some finite amount, so Battlefield can have 64 players. Maybe we have more, maybe we have less, I don't know. It's going to really depend when we get the dogfighting running.
Well, I guess my question is like, okay, so let's say you're under attack by a pirate, and you want to call a friend, and then the friend is like in an adjacent system, but he can't join because the instance happens to be full. Like, what happens?
Well, okay, so the idea with the instancing is that we don't let everybody fill the slots. So like there's slots reserved for players for their friends.
Okay.
So now if you just had you already had a bunch of friends and you wanted another friend to come in and you already used your sort of friend slots, then you're not then yes, you wouldn't be able to get into that. But you shouldn't be stuck in a like there should be enough slots for in a combat people that are there.
So there's like a padding,
yeah, there's a padding on all the instances, and then what we do is when we match people up, we have a whole criteria. It's like kind of what your preferred sort of play style is: PvP versus PvE, who your friends are, who your enemies are, what the ping is between you and the other people, all these, and then also even kind of what your rating is as like a player. Like if
the combat rate.
We don't really want to like put someone that's like a super badass against someone that's just learning the game if we can help it. In the unregulated systems, then that's kind of anything goes. But in the more regulated ones, we kind of try and do matchmaking close to the level if possible. So you have all these criterias that you ratchet, and based on those, it fits the people in, and then always has some level of pad for the existing players so they can ask their friends to join them or jump in. And so it's a dynamic, and the other thing that's good about it is because it's dynamic, it's on a per system basis, like per instance basis. It's happening off and on all the time. So it's not like World of Warcraft is a more sort of rigid shard, and then it's very hard to move between them. This is like basically creating and destroying groups all the time. So even as you move, through space in one system, or from one planet to another planet, you could go in and out of different instances. You could do it like 3, 4, 5 different instances along the way. So it's sort of always dynamically doing. So my feeling is, if in the player base, it will actually be good in terms of, and we also populate with AI if there's real players. So this universe should just feel like moving around. And the way I kind of view it is that there's people moving around and they're kind of AI, and some of them can be, and you won't really notice the difference.
Well, I don't plan on pirates, but here's an interesting scenario though. Let's say I'm a pirate and I want to there's a freighter I'm interested in. I know he's coming into a certain system. I'm waiting for him. But can you really do that since instances are dynamic? Like the freighter might arrive in the system, but in a different instance, so I can't even see him.
Well, it sort of depends. If it's someone that you're waiting for and you've tagged, then the matchmaking system's knowing that that's who you're waiting for.
Okay.
So that's the whole point of doing that sort of tagging. Like someone says, hey, I want you take a mission from someone, I want you to jump this freighter because I want to rip off the gold bullion in it, then the matchmaking system knows that's who you're waiting for, and they'll go and put you in the instance together. So it's the matchmaking algorithms, that's challenging. That's part of the dogfighting alpha. Part of the matchmaking in that will be there. I think I'm hoping it will work pretty well. So.
Thank you, buddy.
So Chris, are the limited ships available again? I see the Retaliator stuff on the page.
Yes. No. I don't know if we announced that. I thought we were going to kind of roll these out. So basically, not this. The Vandal Scythe is not available unless you were a Kickstarter person that pledged for it but didn't get to spend their credits, because we haven't been able to do that yet. But we've tagged those people specifically. Like we know how much people are billing credits. But the ships that were available that weren't limited in number but were available for the last 24 hours are up for the 7-day period. So the M50, the Gladiator, the Retaliator, and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.